Part 3 of How Child Welfare Professionals Use the Black Foster Youth Handbook. We have a surprise guest, Miss Jolinda B.D., who's a former youth in the system, going to talk to us about what it would have been like to have a handbook while in foster care.
Hello, my name is Julinda, and I am former foster youth, and I aged out of the foster system. I first entered the foster system when I was in the third grade, and I was in the children's shelter, which housed like 30 girls and 30 boys to a room, divided in the different age groups. I also lived with different family members, as well as later on, I lived in satellite homes, I lived in foster homes, and I lived in group homes. And I also was a runaway, you know, hard knocks of the foster youth system. I do believe a handbook would have been helpful for me in just so many different ways. Of course, we need to understand the different emotional states. Now that I'm older, I understand emotional intelligence. I understand that we're emotional beings. And I understand that every decision we make is an emotional feeling that we feel, whether it's joy or sadness or anger or bitterness. So now I totally get it. But I think that would be really helpful in a handbook to understand the emotional intelligence, the emotional development, the lack of when we're in the system and when we don't have that support system from that mother and father that we could possibly have. Because, we have these anger issues. I personally have abandonment issues. So there's so many different things that come along with a handbook that would have been helpful. I also believe learning about education, just regular day-to-day, things like banking, housing, how to purchase a car, interest rates. I think those things would be really helpful in a handbook, especially if we don't really get that information at school. And then two, moving around a lot. I myself, I went to 4 high schools in itself. So I do believe a handbook would have been helpful for me. Again, just the emotional state, understanding dynamics of just life in general. So, any type of guidance and tools make us better. And I know in the system, there's plenty of resources out there. And so I believe that a handbook would just be additional with helping us, especially when we're aging out. But aging out for me was back in the day. So I had to age out at 18, and it was difficult because after high school, you like, what are you going to do next? What are your options? What are your choices? And, sometimes we get caught up in self destructive behaviors. And I think a handbook would really have been useful, not only for myself, but for other people that I've known that come out of the system. Some people have drug abuse or alcohol problems. And again, to self destructive behavior, it comes in all types of forms. And since we've been abused, we've been somewhat numb to what's not good for us, and we get ourselves in unhealthy situations or even to unhealthy relationships. So, again, I really think a handbook would be helpful with us that are in the system, who've aged out, those who are even struggling in their 20s. I'm older now, but I totally get it. I'm grateful for what I have gained. I do have my master's degree. I am an author. I do work in education, so I'm grateful for my outcome. But I do know that I could have saved myself some hard knocks and some bumps on the head if there was a handbook to assist us along the way. Again, any tool, it would benefit us. And, life is not easy for anyone, whether you're in foster care or not, but it's even harder when you're in the foster system and you're aging out and you don't have that traditional family support. To this day, I still don't have that traditional family support. I do have support, but it still comes from those angels and those strangers that embrace me and see something special in me. Kudos to you. So I hope to work with you again in the future.
Thank you so much, Jolinda, for answering that question of what it would have been like if you had a handbook. to help navigate through the foster care system. Jalinda is an inspirational leader in her community and in higher education. She is a public speaker, author, and also a spoken word poet. You can learn more about her work at speaker-for-impact.com. Hi there, my name is Ángela Quijada-Banks, and welcome to part 3 of answering the question, how can child welfare professionals use the Black Foster Youth Handbook? Because it's not just for the young people that are looking for ways to successfully age out of foster care and holistically heal. The Black Foster Youth Handbook is also for the child welfare professionals, foster parents, anyone that has a nonprofit looking to support young people, and really anyone looking to support success for young people, for themselves, to heal for themselves, and holistically heal and be a part of the path for young people. So, the Black Foster Youth Handbook can be used in many ways, and in this segment, part 3, we will be sharing just that. Alicia Burleson is a social service employee and sociology professor. As a foster care alumnus, she has seen her share of obstacles. In lieu of those challenges, she created the Patchwork Society, an organization designed to change outcomes for foster care alumni and young adults in her community. She works with both organizations and youth to change the trajectory of the youth being served. Alicia promotes resiliency among youth and hopes to inspire them to achieve their goals despite their life circumstances. You can learn more at www.patchworksociety.org. Now let's hear what Felicia has to say.
The Black Foster Youth Handbook is a necessary tool not only for youth and young adults who have experienced the foster care system, but to those who serve as an ally to them as well. The book is very important because from its inception, the foster care system in the United States has been based on systemic racism. Families of color, more specifically Black families, are disproportionately affected and impacted by the child welfare system in the United States. This means that we not only have more Black children coming into foster care, but we also have lower rates of adoption, especially by age. There is a significantly higher rate of Black foster care youth who age out of the system as opposed to being adopted. The numbers greatly differ from that of our peers from other racial and ethnic backgrounds. This book serves as a foundation not only to bring awareness to the issues, but it also serves as a guide for the youth and young adults for some of the things that they may experience as they begin to transition out of care, as they begin to explore relationships, as they begin to become independent. Not only are we impacted by the foster care system, but anyone who has ever had any experience with foster care alumni know that once you age out of the system, there is another level of issues that can occur once you age out of the system and you begin to transition into adulthood. Things such as experiencing homelessness, having children early, low educational attainment. And once again, those same Black children who stayed in the foster care system as opposed to family reunification or being adopted are experiencing that at a higher level for their peers. So this book is very necessary It is very essential that we provide this to youth and young adults who are either in the foster care system or who are exiting the foster care system, as well as those who serve to be allies and work with them through this transition.
After having been raised with foster youth as a kid and later becoming a foster mom to numerous foster kids, Rashonda has witnessed firsthand the struggles that youth face once entering into the foster care system. The stats pertaining to the outcomes of youth in care are anything but uplifting. The mere idea of this is disheartening and inspired Rashonda to do what she can to help foster youth feel loved, supported, and encouraged to beat the statistics and become successful adults. To do this, Rashonda founded Fostering Life with one goal in mind: to encourage foster youth to dream big and achieve their dreams. Recently, Rashonda launched Fostering Perspectives, a podcast on all things foster care from all perspectives, current and former youth in care, foster parents, system workers, authors, and more. Rashonda believes that developing educated, self sufficient leaders is critical to ensuring foster youth success upon transition out of care. These concepts are the pillars to which Fostering Life, a nonprofit, and Fostering Perspectives, a podcast, was built, and the foundation for which Rashonda advocates to change the foster care system. Now let's hear from Rashonda.
Hey guys, Rashonda here, founder and executive director of Fostering Life, a nonprofit dedicated to supporting and empowering foster youth along their journey, as well as the caregivers of those foster youth. Also, not to mention the founder of the Fostering Perspectives podcast, which is a podcast all around the perspectives of foster care, especially those from a young African-American woman who's been a caregiver for nearly a decade, and my experiences with the system, with the kids, in life, the transitions, all of that. But one of my proudest moments was in launching the Fostering Perspectives podcast. I got the opportunity to interview with Miss Ángela Quijada-Banks, the author of the Black Foster Youth Handbook. That handbook was amazing, guys. I learned so much, and not just in relation to the youth that are in care and some of the things that they can do personally to help overcome some, just overcome some of the trauma, the feelings of worthlessness, and then begin to empower feelings of self-love, self-worth, that kind of notion. But at the same time, the real success model is definitely something that I will be incorporating into my curriculum when working not only with the youth, but also with caregivers. The real success model, in my personal opinion, helps caregivers like myself get down to the root of not only why we're doing what we're doing, but also what experiences in our own life, and what experiences have we had that actually translates and resonates into the care that we give others that have experienced certain things in their life. And so really understanding the roots, really understanding, where my roots in lie, what is my why, what are some things that I've experienced? What's something in my roots that may need to be changed? Do my roots need to be changed? And or do they even need to just be watered differently? Like really having that basic, seemingly basic understanding, but allowing foster parents and caregivers to go a little bit deeper so that they truly understand that why, so that when times get tough, because God knows they will get tough. It will get hard, but it's all worth it in the end. And I think without having that deeply rooted understanding of why it is I'm doing what I'm doing, what is the legacy that I want to leave? Where do I see myself, wanting to be, not just for myself, but also the kids that I care for and that come into my household? Like, what is that message that I want them to take away after they've encountered me, my family, etc.? So really thinking about that is something that I got from the Black Foster Youth Handbook. And I think it's something that should be incorporated in all trainings from this point forward. And I definitely know it's something that we at Fostering Life will be doing, not only with our caregivers, not only with the youth that we serve, but just in general, taking that real success model and really understanding what are our roots. What do we want to envision? How do we want to see accession? And then what's the liberation that we want to see in the end? What is the end goal? What is the end success? It's not just for the kids. And when we think about fostering in general, fostering is not just for the kids. Yes, it's to provide a home, a family, a caring resource for the kids. But at the end of the day, when we really get down to it, fostering does so much more for the caregivers. It touches our heart in such a different way. And so if we apply Angela's real success model to what we're doing in the beginning, to really understand our why, to really look at fostering from a different perspective and think about what's the messaging. What is it that we want these kids to be able to take away from us as caregivers that will last and stay with them for the rest of our lives? Then I think fostering will just be different. It will be transformed. And that is my goal, is to transform it so that when kids come into care, they are coming in there getting the best care. And just because a child comes into foster care, no longer will that mean that that child is less likely to graduate, or more likely to become a teen parent, more likely to envision the criminal or encounter the criminal justice system, or more likely to become homeless. My goal is that every child that has the unfortunate circumstance of encountering foster care leave foster care empowered, self-sufficient, and loving themselves. And so I just thank Angela for her book, the Black Foster Youth Handbook, because that book was not only helpful for reaching the youth that are in care, but it has been very, very insightful for also enlightening the parents and the caregivers of youth that are in care, so that we can look at why we're doing what we're doing, what our roots are, and what's the ultimate message that we want to leave. We can look at things in a different light, and so that it makes a greater and lasting impact. Again, not just about the kids, not just about us, but it's about everybody involved. Thank you so much for the book. If you don't have it, grab it, y'all.
As a supportive adult, that is extremely imperative because this model is very practical. And as you will see throughout the book, that there are questions. So you and your youth can go through and speak on these questions, um, as well as there are fostering success tips, chapter exercises, and a lot of tools and revolutionary understanding of how not only to create change in the system part of foster care, but also in the day to day, right? So, like, lesson 4, trauma doesn't define my future. That's a very powerful and impactful way of thinking about moving forward, healing, and achieving success even after foster care. As you continue your way from root to liberation, you will find things like this, which this here is a poem. You will also be able to find fostering success tips, as I said, chapter exercises. So this is one, prioritizing, relaxing, and protecting your peace. Um, and so it is a very interactive work. This is a fostering success tip here. It says it is imperative that you look out for your young person's story. Their story is theirs to tell and no one else's. So there's a lot of information, not just for youth, but also for you to be able to see different perspectives and to learn. And of course, milestones, so that way you can celebrate with your young person as you go through this journey. So I just wanted to share a little bit about the Black Foster Youth Handbook. It is extensive. It is pretty thick, Um, so it's going to take you a minute. It is not meant to go and be read within one sitting in one day. It is meant to be, taken time with you and your young person, and just really making this a habit of self reflection, of communication, and building community. So I really am looking forward to hearing your thoughts once you begin reading the book, after you're finished reading the book. And without further ado, I'm excited to introduce our last speaker, Mr. Jerome. Jerome McCall, also known as Ro McCall, is an innovator, community leader, visionary, musical transformative songwriter, rapper, singer, and artist. Check him out on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Music. I hope you enjoy this incredible song that he created entitled I Survived. Without further ado, take it away.
Touch me? Yeah, it's me. I'm all grown up. I'd like to speak to Miss Tate.
Well, you want to come in?
No. Would you like to get her?
Have mercy. Good job. Oh, nigga. Ugly neck. Huh, nigga. Don't you know how to come home when you did?
I can't say one thing.
I survived, yeah. All the things that they said to me, all the things that they did to me. Congratulations, you survived. Now it's time for you to go out there and strive. Ángela wrote the book, provided you with the guys. I'm just following up, solidifying a vibe. Your purpose is what you do with your passion, go be divine. And pat yourself on the back. Congrats, you survived. You survived. It's really up to you to turn pain into power, but first you gotta address the roots of your problems. Then envision a life with support right beside you and find them. And now your ascension is truly guided, which will give you liberation in time if you will apply it. Now you timeless, but when you need help, open your mouth. So I say to my foster parents, thanks for opening your house. But I feel like I need to creep around like a mouse and feel that if I make a record, she'll kick me out. But while I'm guarding my heart, work on guarding your mouth, cause the things that you say might go with me forever, right in them hefty bags with all of my other treasures. So I'm carrying my trauma in places it shouldn't follow. I know I'm full of purpose, didn't plan on feeling hollow, but after several places, my skepticism's on auto. What's an ideal family, bro? How should I know? My family situation was shaken and barely stable. So if you don't show me the principles when I age out without adoption, I'm forced to figure it all out. My first life lesson was simply that of survival and survival. I survived, yeah. All the things that they said to me, all the things that they did to me. I'm an Antoine Fisher, I cried for the little boy once that cries inside of me, then eventually overcame him. I survived, yeah. You couldn't break me with all the negative comments, repetitive rejection by misjudging my conduct. Said I would be a convict, made your mind up and perpetuated the stigma of the social construct that chooses black boys last, if any, for adoption. But my younger lighter girl counterparts are first option. But still I rise like a phoenix from all the ashes. A victim, not a victim, taking names, kicking yes. As I digress, let me finish with this statement. Stop calling me a foster kid, I'm a youth in the system is not who I am, and I survive. I survive, yeah. All the things that they said to me, all the things that they did to me. Congratulations, you survived. Now it's time for you to go out there and strive. Ángela wrote the book, provided you with the guys. I'm just following up, solidifying a vibe. Your purpose is what you do with your passion, go be divine. And pat yourself on the back. Congrats, you survived.
To help me. And it's
You survived.
And you?
Well, I don't know what you're talking about.
You are 6 years old. Now you just listen. No, you listen to me. No, I think you forgot. I think you forgot. I said listen to me. This is my time. You understand me? It don't matter what you tried to do. You couldn't destroy me. I'm still standing. I'm still strong. Not always will be.
Wow, what a beautiful song. If you are still here with us, just want to say thank you for being a part of our segment answering the question, how can child welfare professionals use the Black Foster Youth Handbook? Because the Black Foster Youth Handbook is not just for young people, it is also for those working with them. I want to extend an offer to you. If you yourself are working on or trying to figure out how to become an author and publish your purpose-led book. So this is a extension if you are in your purpose, if you're recognizing that you want to really get a message out there to help others and create an impact, then I want to invite you to sign up at soulfulliberation.com for a 6-week course. Other than that, I hope you have an incredible rest of your day, and I'll see you soon. Peace.